Welcome, welcome, welcome from me and my little friend William Shakespeare. Let's put him here. You can watch and say goodbye later. Good morning and welcome to hopefully the first of many videos. In this video, I'd like to give you some reading suggestions. We're all spending a lot of time at home right now, and a good way to spend your time at home is to read. Every minute that you read is time well spent. Reading is good for your brain. Of course, I, as your English teacher, would ask you or encourage you to read books in English to improve your reading, your writing, your speaking, and even your listening skills. Reading books in English has an impact on all of that. And this is where this video comes in. But before we start, where do you get books? Where do you get books, especially at these times, at the moment, when you should stay at home and when shops are closed? There are still different ways to get books. The easiest one is to order books at your local bookstore. Now, of course, you can't go there because the stores are closed, but you can still order them online and have them delivered right to your door. Many local bookstores have online shops. And please remember, you can support your regional businesses by just doing that and not ordering books on Amazon. Many local bookstores will face the pressure of the current situation. Later I will also give you a link to the Rathaus Buchhandlung in Bad Schwalbach, where I live. Why Bad Schwalbach? Why the Rathaus Buchhandlung? Well, I know it, and they have an excellent online book store. They deliver right to your home. Another possibility is to buy ebooks, of course. You'll need a device to read an ebook, preferably an e-reader. If you don't have that, a tablet will do as well. I'm not sure whether smartphones or computer screens are that great for reading though. And of course, finally, audiobooks are also a good way to read if you can't get your hands on a physical book. So, let's get started. Today I'd like to talk about fantasy, and I have brought a couple of books. The first is a novel that you all know, Harry Potter. Actually, this one, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. It's funny, it's wonderful, has wonderful characters, a lot of suspense, and it's followed by an entire series of novels. Actually, these are only the first three. They get more serious with each novel, so if you find the first one to be more of a book for younger readers, this changes over time. But still, grown-ups can enjoy all of these novels as much as children. Now, what's Harry Potter about? The protagonist is a young boy, this one here, called, obviously, Harry Potter. And he discovers that he is somehow special because he has magical abilities. So he has to go to a school of magic. But as soon as he gets there, he finds out that there are dark secrets in the world of wizards, the world of magic. It's highly recommended. It's really a great read. The next novel I'd like to show you is something completely different. The Golden Compass, the first part of a trilogy called His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. This one, Now, this looks like a really thick book, a heavy tome, but you should keep in mind that it's a trilogy, and this is only the first novel, and again, you can buy them individually as well. So Northern Lights is the first one, or The Golden Compass. You can find, I think that there are two titles around, because there was a film called the Golden Compass, but the actual title is Northern Lights. Then the second book is The Subtle Knife, and the third one is The Amber Spyglass. It's a very successful trilogy, a modern classic really. The main character is a young girl, Lyra, and it's set in a wonderful fantasy world in which everybody has a magical animal companion. The novel has a lot of excellent characters in store for you, and it's a very mysterious story. Basically, Lyra discovers that children get missing in her hometown and that something dark and sinister is going on. Things are not as they seem. And so she goes on a long and dangerous journey to find these missing children. I think it's a wonderful tale. I can only recommend it. Very good, very good. The next one is something different again. The Buried Giant by Katsuo Ishiguro. I hope I do his name justice. It's a British-Japanese author and actually the winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature. And he has written a fantasy novel, The Buried Giant. Ishiguro has set this novel in Britain's distant past. It's basically set in the Middle Ages, in King Arthur's time. King Arthur, legendary British king, König Artus auf Deutsch. It's really a dark tale, and although it's set in a distant historical period, there's still magic and ogres and even a dragon. The characters are beautifully drawn and the language is just marvelous. It's about a married couple, Axel and Beatrice, and they also go on a journey. I mean, it's fantasy literature. People go on journeys, people meet dragons, there's magic, that's what fantasy is all about. Now, their journey is about to find their lost son. But there's a problem. People in this world and in this time, they forget things. They forget and forget and forget, and nobody knows why. But there has to be some magic or some spell lying over the land that makes people forget. Of course, the mystery is slowly uncovered as you read on. I think The Buried Giant is really a beautiful novel. Now, the next one is a novel by one of my favorite authors, Terry Pratchett. I used to devour his books when I was at school, just reading one after another. His novels are usually set in Discworld. What makes Discworld a special fantasy setting is that it has so much comedy and unforgettable funny characters in it. Some of his novels are really hilarious at times, but they're always funny and they always have a lot of suspense. What Pratchett does in these novels is that he pokes fun at our own world through the lens of fantasy. This particular novel, Guards Guards, is one of his earlier ones. A dragon, again a dragon, has come to the great city of Ankh-Morpork, so it's time for people to step up, especially the city guard led by Captain Vimes. It's really funny, really good. My last novel is also my favorite one among all of these, The Hobbit by John Ronald Reuel Tolkien. As you can see, this novel also features a dragon. Well, it's fantasy. Fantasy authors love dragons. Now, why is The Hobbit one of my all-time favorites? It has so much humor, and it presents a rich and fabulous fantasy world called Middle-earth. You've probably heard about it or seen it in films. Just by the way, if you have seen the films, the book is different. You can still enjoy it and it's still a worthwhile read. Middle-earth features the classical fantasy elements like elves, dragons, dwarves, etc. Actually, Tolkien sort of invented or gave birth to the entire genre. The book has, like the others, a lot of suspense, which is why I recommend it here. What you should also keep in mind when you read this, though, is that it may seem a bit childish at first. Yeah, I mean, it's a children's book. But please don't be put off. The book gets more serious as you read on. Yeah? Its entire tone changes in the course of the novel, which is also what makes this really a great book. It's basically about a normal guy, a hobbit. You'll learn what a hobbit is in these pages. And he's going on an adventure to help a group of dwarves to get back their lost treasure and to find their home. Yeah, and again, of course, I can't say it enough, it's about dragons. Yeah, or one dragon actually called Smaug, one of the greatest dragons in English literature. Yeah, that's all for today. The next video will focus on a different genre. Thanks for your attention. Goodbye from me and my tiny little friend here, Will Shakespeare. Remember, Shakespeare knows best.